I have a Galaxy S22. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, nice.
I always liked iPhones. Well, no, that's a lie. I always liked the ideas of iPhones. Like I never really could afford them growing up. When I got to college, the Androids were always so versatile in terms of like functionality.
Yeah, and more accessible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you team iPhone?
Right now, so I've had an iPhone before in the past. To me, it's like I love technology, right? So to me, it's like whoever's coming out with the best technology, your boy is leaning towards that. We got no affiliations. Like whichever is providing the best experience, I'm locked in. Like whoever comes out with the most practical augmented reality glasses, I don't care if it's Apple or Android. That's the team I'm on. Whoever's coming out with the best stuff, that's the team I'm on. I'm very not loyal in that way. So I've had an iPhone before, and currently right now I do have an Android. I have an S10 Plus, so I got it in 2019, so I'm a little bit overdue for an upgrade. It's kind of hard now because before in the past, I definitely would say I was team Android. In the past, I was team Android because I just like the customization of Android, right? I just like that Android gave you a lot more stuff that you could do, right? Like, do you remember the time the old how even the hardware for Android phones had so much more variation, so much more accessibility compared to Apple devices. Back when you could get your phone and you could expand your storage how much you wanted, you still had your headphone jack, you could pick whatever size you wanted. It's like there's a lot of freaking options with Android, and I love that. It really made you feel like your device belonged to you. But Apple, you don't feel like your device belongs to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I recently saw someone who's an iPhone user try to pick up an Android phone. And they're like, I don't know how to use this thing. When I use an iPhone, I also don't know how to use it. I think because the Androids, there's 3 buttons on the bottom, the home, the app button, and the back. Like the iPhone, I don't know the gestures and everything like that. So yeah, but I always loved how the Androids, you can customize your wallpapers, you can get the live screens, all the different widgets and everything like that. I think iPhones are just now getting this type of stuff. I had a Note 10 Plus, and I loved that phone. I always wanted a Note. You know what I'm saying? I never had a Note until I had
stylus.
One. Yeah. And I was actually using the stylus, and then I got deeper into that Samsung ecosystem. I started getting the watches, the headphones, and I even got a tablet. Yeah. So the notes transferring from the stylus to the phone was perfect merger of the two. Unfortunately for me, my phone fell, it shattered, and the screen stopped working.
Oh.
It happened earlier this year, around my birthday actually. And I was holding out for what I knew the Z Fold 4 or 5 would be. Well,
yeah, honestly, they should call that the Note. They should call that the Note now. As soon as they get it, because the next one is going to come out with a stylus built into it.
That's what I'm waiting for now.
Because they changed the top tier line from Note to Ultra now. So I already think they're already mentally preparing, saying this literally looks like a notebook. You fold it out get the Z Fold out of here. Just call it the new Note series. It makes more sense. And just have a stylus built into it. Yeah.
I said that on the last video. That's the piece of technology I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a foldable phone with a stylus in it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna get it. That'll probably be my last update in terms of the phones I'd get. You know what I'm saying?
Until the new augmented reality glasses come out.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, gotta be on your start, bro.
I'm a tech guy. You're a tech guy, right?
Yeah.
I think the things about iPhones though, there's once you get an iPhone, you have to get a MacBook laptop and everything like that.
Yeah.
You have to get the AirPods and or Beats to go with the iPhone.
Yeah.
And you go and have to get an iPad, and then you want to get all this stuff and have a Google Pixel watch.
Because
you have all this stuff. You have to have an Apple Watch.
Yo, that's freaking true. I think it's low key one of the most sinister, but brilliant things that these bigger phone brands have come up with. The power and authority of the ecosystem because the ecosystem invites you, saying like, hey, won't it be nice a watch to have a watch that integrates and works well with your phone? Wouldn't it be nice that you get text messages coming through, you can track all these other stuff that you like? Oh, you're going to get a tablet, right? You want a tablet. Well, wouldn't it make sense to be able to get the same kind of integration from your phone, your watch, to your tablet? Yes. So then you get your starter pack, you get your watch, you get your phone, and my tablet's somewhere over there. And then, 2 years pass, 2 to 3 years pass. It's usually the time where people decide to upgrade their devices. It's like, well, you're not going to upgrade everything at the same time, right? Because that's just way too much money for the average person, right? Okay. New phone coming out. What phone are you going to get? You're going to get a phone that integrates just as well with the other devices you have. It's a perfect way to lock people into a specific company. Is like, because you're not going to upgrade your watch, your tablet, your phone, your computer all at the same time. It's like you're going to upgrade one thing at a time. So when your watch breaks, you're going to get the watch that best integrates into the experiences that you've appreciated for years. You're not going to get the clunky one that's doesn't integrate. You don't have all the features that you rely on that makes your life more convenient. It's so even the idea, like right now I'm on that Samsung wave and I'm thinking of upgrading, and I'm seeing my options. Is like, it makes more sense based on the technology I have right now to stick with Samsung. But Apple is coming out, like, the thing I've always liked about Apple is that they are freaking clean. There is a power to controlling everything that you have in your ecosystem. Like, there is a deep power there. And other Android, companies like Samsung has been trying to replicate that, but Apple they're the kings of it.
Yeah, because I don't think people even have, like, Samsung laptops. Like, I don't think...
They used to make them.
Actively buy.
Yeah, they used to make them. They used to make Samsung laptops, but Samsung been slow on that for a minute, and I think they just gave up on that. And then they had their tablets that they tried to make hybrid variations, like a tablet between a laptop and a tablet with their keyboard and all that stuff. But people ain't looking at Samsung and being like, oh, I'm going to get a laptop from Samsung. Like, not for years, in my opinion. I haven't heard Samsung come out with a laptop that is, like, I've heard Asus come through with some nice laptops. Apple, of course. You have Alienware, you have a Dell. That's their main thing. That's the only thing they do. Don't get a Dell laptop, in my opinion. No. Well, the not sponsored or anything like that. I have the G15. It's been working decent for me, but it's just been working decent. There's other options that is, in my opinion, better worth your money. Unless Dell, you want to sponsor that, we could talk about it. But hey,
but like, I work on a college campus. Mm-hmm. I be seeing students with their Mac, next to their iPad with their iPhone, mm-hmm. and like seamlessly switching the notes from the iPad to the MacBook. I'm like, that is clean.
That's clean.
That is clean. It's making being a student an easier life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Imagine college 20 years ago. You didn't have all the fancy, like, knick-knack paddywhacks.
Like, yeah, that's true. Yo, but that's the one thing that pulls me towards Apple, is like that their ecosystem literally feels like a deep, tight ecosystem. Like Google has their ecosystem. The thing about Android is, like, Android is divided among so many different companies that each company does something really well. Like Google, like, to me, Google is the best voice assistant. Like, they've created the one that's the most reliable, that does the most functions, that integrates into the most devices. They're the best. Like, Siri don't got it. Alexa doesn't got it.
What about Bixby?
Who? Yeah, see, that's where Samsung failed. Like, but it's like every company's trying to have their own thing, but like the Android companies, they seem to have something about them that's just better in comparison to everything else. Like, I think in terms of hardware, Samsung is winning. In terms of voice assistant, Google's winning. Software is a little bit of a toss-up right now, because what other, in terms of Android, what other companies are really popping out here other than Google and Samsung?
I guess OnePlus, or that's a different route. There's like the specialty phones that have like the fancy cameras, and like the Sony has like very fancy cameras, but I feel like no, you never see anybody with a Sony phone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like you don't see. Yeah, it's only when I look at Android, the only Android phones that I kind of expect to see is Samsung, Google, and you might see a few OnePluses around, or some Huawei.
LG died out. LG died out, right?
Yeah, they pulled out. They're on their TVs now. They're just on their TVs.
But in my head, I think it's just Samsung, really, like what you just said.
Yeah.
But like the iPhone, iPhone gives me like a suit and tie type of person. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole packaging is like suit and tie business type. Like Samsung gives me.
No, honestly, I like that kind of vibe. Like the type of fit we're wearing right now. I think I see that as more of like Google. Like that's what Google's like. Even when you look at the advertisements that Google has, it's always like people that's like dressed like casual adventure vibes, like out in nature. Samsung is like, I think Samsung honestly tries to be on that suit and tie, especially with the Z Fold. But the people that are on their suit and tie typically have suit and tie money. And so suit and tie money is like, Apple's giving me what I need. I don't need all that customization type stuff. I'm just going to get that MacBook. Like if you're a suit and tie, most companies, especially even in the tech industry, if like you get hired as a programmer or IT person, whatever, and they're handing you a laptop, 9 times out of 10 is going to be a MacBook. 9 times out of 10. And most professional, it's just like you're right, most professional people you see will have an iPhone. Does it mean that iPhones are more professional? I've seen some people that aren't professional using iPhones, but it's just easier to convey professionalism with iPhones compared to like Android stuff.
Even the way you just said it, Android stuff.
The Android experience. But here's so the thing that drew me to Android in the beginning was that customization. Was like I was willing to accept a less refined experience for more freedom. All right, I was on my Aaron Yeager with it. Like that freedom. Well, not season 4 Aaron, but like freedom. With Android, but now the lines are getting even more blurred because I think Apple's OS in terms of the iPhone is providing more freedom and customization that we would have got, that we typically was locked towards Android, and Android is realizing that they need to get more refined as well, so they're locking things up. There's less variation to it, especially from a hardware standpoint. It's like they saw Apple got rid of the headphone jack. They're like, I bet no headphone jack, right?
They saw Apple got rid of iPhone headphone jack. They started laughing at Apple.
Yeah.
And then Apple made the AirPods, and they're like, I bet.
Yes. Because they were like, oh, Apple making that money from AirPods, let's do that too. And then they realized that people are like, why would I buy that when I can just do my headphone jack business and all that? And then they're like, damn, we gotta get rid of the headphone jack if we want to profit in this portion here. And then they got rid of the SD card.
The SD card. You know what's an interesting thing? Apple tends to lead with all of the great capitalistic decisions.
Okay, break that down.
Getting rid of the headphone jack to cause the AirPods. Everyone laughs. Samsung even made the commercials about that. And then they started selling their Samsung Galaxies. Getting rid of the chargers. And they're like, Samsung gives you the one that is like fighting them back and be like, yes, our phone still comes with a charger. Yes, our phone comes with an SD card, but Apple just profits off all that stuff, sell you a charger for $70 and all that stuff, and then Samsung is like, okay, maybe our new phones won't come with a charger thing. We're trying to save the planet. But all these other companies like Samsung be leading with technological advancements. In my opinion, like the best screens, the folding screens, I think they had the first rollover screen, the USB-Cs, all that stuff. All the hardware advancements are coming from all these non-Apple companies. But Apple just sees the hardware advancements, and because they make all these capitalistic advancements, they could now, unveil a new breaking edge technology. 2 years from now, their phone might have a stylus, an Apple Pen. They'll be like,
yeah. Because the thing with Apple is like, they do not appeal to the beta testers. They don't appeal to people they appeal to the average consumer. Shout out to your average consumer. But they appeal to the average consumer that's like, they don't want to be messing around with this clunky thing. Well, people like us, we're like, ooh, new thing, new feature. That's pretty cool. Like, we want to play with that and try that. But Apple prefers to be like, yeah, we'll add widgets once we can add widgets to our standard. Once it's clean on every iPhone we have, once there's no crashes whatsoever, once everything is tight and perfect, that's when Apple will integrate it. So it's like, yeah, it's like if you want a clean, tight experience, you go with iPhone. Because at first I was thinking like, okay, the customization of Android, but Android is taking less risks, in my opinion. The bigger companies like Google and Samsung are taking less risks in terms of making things more varied and fancy, while Apple is, yeah, you guys have widgets like 8 years before we did, but our widgets are way cleaner than whatever widgets you guys have right now. Like, our widgets are reliable, our widgets work well, we got design experts, because that's the limitation of Android. It's like, it's impossible to make something tight and clean with Android, because Android is open source. Like, anybody can make an app and put it up there and it won't really get reviewed. And maybe it gets reviewed, but like the review process is way less strict in comparison to Apple, So I'm like, so for me trying to upgrade right now, I would say the ecosystem it's a strong thing. It's a strong thing. Right now, I'm definitely more integrated into the Samsung one. But am I willing to be like, because my roommate, he was team Android, right? He upgraded and got an iPhone because he just felt like the experience would be cleaner and more better. I kind of also think he did it in a little bit of a simpy kind of way. His girl has iPhone and Apple, and I think his girl could push him a lot to get it. But he has a Samsung watch. He has a Samsung watch.
The green bubble versus the blue.
Yeah, the discrimination there. But he's got a Samsung watch. He's got a Google earbuds, and he's like, I talked to him, to like, yo, bro, once you get the iPhone, you're gonna feel compelled to get that new watch. And he's like, nah, man, I'm cool with the watch I have. A week later, we talking, and he's like, man, I just wish my watch did. So I already see it coming. I told him, like, give it 3 months, bro. You might not be looking at the latest Apple Watch, but you'll be looking at an Apple Watch because you want that full integration.
Black Friday coming up. Give it a month.
Oh boy. Oh boy. But yeah, man. What's your if you had enough, like, say if someone gave you like $5K and they're like, hey, use this money to build out your mobile ecosystem, would you go into Apple or would you go into stick with Android? Because you also have a Apple. You have like a Mac.
Let's talk what I got.
Hey.
If I had $5K, I had to spend on like I have to spend the money, right?
Yes, you had to.
I think I'd still be interested in like the Z Fold 4, Z Fold 5. To be honest with you, the stylus.
Yeah,
that's a pretty cool feature. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like writing. Like, it makes me want to write and draw. Not that I can't really draw well. I know my penmanship ain't the best, but like,
yeah, it makes you want to.
Sure. Yeah, I think I'll go with like a Z Fold 5.
Yeah.
I hope the Z Fold 5 a bit more better than the Z Fold 4. I hope, like, I think one of the issues with the Z Fold 4 currently is that you can't write on the front screen.
Oh, like when it's closed.
Yeah. You can only write when the screen is open. I think it's like different glass on the front screen.
Okay.
So I think by the Z Fold 5, it probably would be a bit more polished, and the styles would probably be inside the actual phone.
Got
so I think
you.
that's what I'm waiting for. Z Fold 5, Z Fold 6.
Got you. All right. I think we could start closing out this video right here. Let us know in the comments down below. What operating system are you guys on right now? What's your pros and cons for those operating systems? Are you team Android? Are you team iPhone? Should there be teams? I don't know. Right now, to me, my conclusion is that the lines between Android and iPhone is blurring in terms of what you're getting from them. And and even before, it would be like, I honestly feel since the lines is blurring, I'm leaning a little bit more towards Apple, because Android, the main pull for me was that freedom, was that customization that comes with it. And then if Apple's giving me the similar levels of customization but a cleaner experience with less crashes, then if you got the guap for it, why wouldn't you? You know, because I've seen some people customize their iPhones now, and I'm like, damn, that looks like how you could customize your stuff on Android. Like, if you're more technically minded, you can still customize your Android phone to a high degree. But for the average consumer, for the casual person, it's like just changing their wallpaper, maybe changing the look of their icons is enough customization for them, you know? Yeah.
That's fair. But I'm gonna rock with Android for a little bit.
Yeah. I hear you, man. I'm still on the fence about it. But we'll see. Because I'm also an ecosystem kind of guy too. Like, if I get an iPhone, I know my brain gonna be like, yo, Apple Watch might be the next thing we need to get, bro. And then get an iPad, but then I feel like it'll be too late. I'll be trapped in there, man. I'll be trapped in.
$5,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what happened?
A MacBook might cost you $5,000.
Yeah, bro. Oh my goodness.
I ain't got it.
Yo. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for checking out this video. We appreciate you guys coming through. Let us know what you thought about this topic. Dr. Griffs, do you have anything else you want to share before we close things out?
Save your money. Technology breaks. So, like, if you buy a new phone, probably buy a case. That's what I recommend.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yo, this was Bam and Dr. Griffs. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all of that fun stuff. You know, if you want to see more content like this, if you want to see us talking more about tech, because that's one of the things that me and him share a lot in common. We love technology. Oh, before we close up, did you hear that Apple, by next year, their next phone has to come up with a USB Type-C?
Too.
Yep.
I know they're talking about it in like Europe, but that's moving to America as well. Like, they have to do it.
Mm-hmm. Like, there's an article saying like I forget which specific law or regulation and technology it is, but Apple now has to abide by this universal rule of this thing, because honestly, like, Apple's been a while, to be honest. Like, it's like you mentioned, such a capitalistic tactic. Is like, yeah, we're just going to not because our custom charging method is more efficient and better. It's just because we're Apple. Like, Apple does things because they feel like they're the GOATs. They just do things not because they feel like it's better for the consumer. They just do things because they feel like they're the GOATs, and they feel like y'all gonna put up with it because we the GOATs. Y'all love our experience so much, we could get away with sus things like this.
That's a fact.
Yeah. But thank you guys for checking out. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm Bam. That's Dr. Griffs. Peace. Yeah. Yeah, we were I thought we were connected for a second, but we messed up.
Breakfast, I don't know. Yeah.
Peace.
Oh yeah, peace. Sorry.